And we are live.
Acting foolish, overdressed, confusing the crowd. You won't see me at this bar again. Happy hour, habit stars, my feet on the ground. Whiskey 7 on my cardigan. Last night, they ain't in my.
Coming to you live from the great state of Wisconsin is the Overdue Sports Team. I am your host, Will Massa. To my right is our other host, Jake Sawinski. You can tell this is March. We're on March 8th covering some more college basketball tournaments. How we doing today, buddy? It's the lunch hour.
Lunch hour, working from home. I do full time and was able to sneak away for an hour to catch up on one of the tournaments we missed. Just an oversight there. That happens. Snuck up on us. And you were doing something with same game parlay. Or how do you SGPN? You're doing
SGPN,
that.
yep.
Yeah, you're doing that last night, and so a little scheduling thing. And honestly, these conferences, whatever. But let's get into it, huh?
Yeah, we're going to kick off with the one that we oversaw that started yesterday, the Missouri Valley. To me, this is actually a shame that this isn't a two-bid league this year because somebody is going to get left out, whether it's Indiana State,
Drake. Yeah.
Yeah, one of them is going to get left out, and I think they're more deserving than some bottom-level Power 5 teams that we might see sneak in.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it's a shame that this is only a one-bid league, but this tournament should actually be pretty good. We're just going to run through. I'm going to run through quick the winners yesterday. UIC beat Southern Illinois. Illinois State lost to Evansville.
That was Belmont a popular one.
That was. I saw a lot of people on Evansville.
No, I meant the other way around. I saw a lot of people on Illinois State. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a pretty mixed bag. Illinois State has been ass down the stretch. That didn't really surprise me that they dropped that one.
No.
Belmont took it to Valpo. No surprises there. And Murray State laid the dud of their season. That program is just not what it used to. I mean, that used to be like the team that always would come out of this conference. And they scored. I know you had the over in that game, and you texted me around halftime.
Yeah, like just a little sidebar here. We'll probably talk about it more on Sunday, just how ridiculous college basketball betting was for me yesterday. It wasn't the good bets. Like, I was up on the day, like 0.7 units or something. But the losers I had were just hilariously bad. Like, you can't even get mad. Like, I bet that over, and they had like 40 points at halftime. What are you going to do? Like, that one was just never meant to be. The Belmont and Valpo, I was also on that over. And I think that one didn't look as bad as it kind of was. Because, like, if you look at the final score, I think it missed by like 10-9.
Valpo dressed it up late. I mean, yeah, Belmont took it to them.
Well, they both did. Yeah, like they were down 26 at halftime. It's like, what are you going to do? Like, the game flow's just wrecked at that point. And then I was one of the idiots that bet on Pacific yesterday. Probably the worst bet of my life. But, like, it was so bad you can't get mad. Like, it was just comically an ass wager. Like, I was at the gym last night, and I just check. Oh, they're down 10-0. Okay. You check like 5 minutes later, it's 32-2. I'm like, oh, Jesus, this is going to be a funny story. But, yeah, whatever. But yeah, I'm not very excited for the Missouri Valley. I saw you were on Radford.
I am on Radford this morning. Yep.
I'm on that under. And then I also took the over in Missouri State and Indiana State. I'm running it back. They burned me yesterday. I'm going to try it again.
I like it. This conference, I'm going to run through just some of the odds for the teams that are still in this.
Sure.
So we have obviously, these odds are not the same as what they were because these are pre-conference odds, but we had Indiana State as the 1 seed at plus 160, Drake at plus 210, Bradley plus 350, Northern Iowa plus 1,100, Belmont plus 1,500, Missouri State plus 9,000, Evansville 25-1, UIC 20-1. And to me, the top 4 teams, I think any of which could come out of this thing. Obviously, Indiana State is going to be the favorite. They have been red hot this year. Robbie Avila, everybody loves him. They're a fun team. I would love to see them come out. I don't think they're going to be the team to come out. As much as it pains me to say it, I don't think they're going to win this tournament. I 100% agree. I think it's
Yeah,
Drake.
probably Drake. But I mean, from a betting standpoint, it's going to be one of those two probably. I could like if you like your long shots, maybe Bradley. I know Bradley is always they always seem to be in contention for this tournament, but it seems like they always fall a little bit short just because Drake has always like in the last 5-10 years have always been a pretty consistently good program. Indiana State's always kind of been in the same caliber. I think this year they really turned it up a notch. But I if you lay a unit, however you bet your conference tournament futures, if you do that for either of those three teams, I think you'd be fine. I probably wouldn't consider. Like they have a pedigree of being competitive in this tournament as well. But just being I looked on DraftKings today. Like we're in a state where it's not legal, so we have to just kind of use legal sports books as a barometer. Um, I saw 1,400 this morning. I think that's a little too long based on how short the pool already is. So like if you're gonna bet it late, it would be one of those three teams. And probably not even Bradley. Like Bradley would be like the longest I would go at this point.
I agree. I think I'm actually really interested in the UNI Belmont game today. UNI, I believe, is laying a point. I think it's going to be a fantastic game.
I think
and
so too.
People are always. I mean, obviously, people love the rest advantage that UNI is going to have, and that defense can be suffocating at times. But if they don't shoot the three well, they're going to be in trouble. I mean, that's a live by the three, die by the three team. I think they could make a run. I don't think I would play it. I think you're right. I think Bradley's probably the steepest I would go as far as who I would take. But I like Drake in this thing. I just think they're I don't know. I would love to see Indiana State and Drake both in the big dance, but we're not.
I would too, because like there's gonna be
get like Virginia in.
And yeah, well, I mean, I'm not gonna poo-poo Virginia, but like it's fair to do so. Like there are plenty of Power 5 teams that are probably gonna make it that you'd love to see. Top tier mid-major teams that would probably lose to a Power 5 team anyways, but these two probably wouldn't. So I would enjoy, like you said, seeing this being a 2-bid league, but I don't think that's going to be the case. But if you do like UNI and you want to play them today, consider playing the future.
Yeah, I'm debating playing them today. I'm back and forth just because I'm typically high on Belmont. And that game against Valpo, like I don't see that as like, it wasn't a hard fought game for them really. I mean, they handled them
they were
easily,
up
so
4-25 at the jump. Like the only thing is it's like, is that going to even out today? Because they made everything. I think they were shooting like 60%. I don't know exactly what they finished for the game, but they were well over 50-60% at halftime. And they slowed down a little bit, but I mean, did you have everybody playing at the end of the game? I don't know who anybody is. Valpo is playing everybody, but I almost promise Belmont wasn't. They're looking toward the next game already. So sorry we were a little late on it, but there probably wasn't much betting value in this conference anyways outside of the top 3-4 teams.
Yeah, and even Drake as the 2 seed at plus 210, I don't think I would have necessarily played that.
No, it's just too short. I mean, those short odds are kind of indicative of who's probably going to win the tournament. It's going to be one of those two. Would be
and you're better off really like just rolling over and just betting Drake through the tournament. If you think they're going to win it, you're probably just better off betting them depending on the spreads.
Yeah, stack it as you go. Yeah. Or even like I don't know how many points they're laying today, probably double digits. Who are they playing?
13.5 against Evansville, which I like them to cover that. Like I'm debating betting that too.
See, I always am very weary of the big spreads because this is when they don't give up. It's like, hey, this is the last game we're going to play this season unless you're NIT bound, which you're probably not, maybe CBI bound. But for a lot of these teams, it doesn't matter. Like they're just going to keep trying. Hey, can I get one more basket? Okay, can we get the ball back one more time? I want to make a 3. Something like that. It's just the games don't seem to end, and that's where you see the crazy bad beats. Oh, they fouled with 1.2 seconds left, down 14. It's like, doesn't matter. Like, I don't know. So I get a little weary laying those big spreads in this time. I haven't looked at the splits yet for the later games. I just did the two totals. I didn't like any of the sides. I thought the sides were about right. So, guess we'll see. Kind of taking it hour by hour now that we have daytime hoops on Thursday and Friday.
Which I love. It's about time.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too.
I was so happy there was games on yesterday. That
Mhm.
we both were on Georgia Southern yesterday. I was just happy that there was a game on that I could watch.
I didn't watch it. I've been pretty slammed at work, but a nice little hey, check the phone, get mad at the players, and continue on. But you'll see my betting volume increase just because I have an extra 5-6 plays, the first 8 hours of the day as opposed to having them all at night. Ready for the next conference?
Yeah, let's jump into this one. We got the CAA, the Colonial Athletic Conference, kicking off today.
Here's my question before we get into it. Is it the Coastal Athletic Conference or the Colonial, or is it like a synonymous term? Because when I was looking at the odds, it says Coastal. Or maybe they rebranded. I don't know.
I've always known it as the Colonial.
So have I.
But I've also seen it listed as the Coastal.
Either way, you know who we're talking about.
Yeah, we're talking about. Yeah, so I'll run through the odds real quick. Hofstra is the 1 seed plus 180. Charleston is the 2 seed minus 115. Towson at plus 600. UNC Wilmington plus 1,000. Drexel plus 2,500. Delaware plus 5,000. North Carolina A&T 30-1. William and Mary 25-1. Elon 25-1. Stony Brook 50-1. Northeastern 40-1. Hampton 50-1. And Monmouth 50-1.
That's your team right there.
That is my team. If you've been following us, I've taken them more than almost any other team.
They're much improved
this year. They are. They shoot really well. I mean, they do. They kind of fell off later as the year went on. Early on, they were really good. Like they beat they almost beat Cornell early on. I mean, they easily were in that game. They've played some good teams tough. I've got some mixed feelings in this conference. Today, William and Mary and North Carolina A&T and Hampton and Elon play. Don't be surprised if Hampton beats Elon today. I think
I think
Hampton
that's a good look.
Catching 3.5. I like that play. It's a weird time of year where those short dogs end up winning a lot of these games. We saw yesterday with Georgia Southern.
Elon? Yeah, they suck. They both do, let's be fair.
There's some sneaky Hofstra at plus 180 as the 1 seed. I like. Hofstra has been really solid this year. They've been a thorn in my side every time I fade them. It feels like.
They're not. Well,
they're not a betting friendly team to me.
No, they're okay though. I feel like you said, they're kind of that annoying team where you fade them. They got life. If you bet on them, they kind of lay a stinker. Did you do the pre-tournament odds? I know, what is your data? Because I see them at plus 360. I mean, we're kind of we're kind of splitting hairs here. It doesn't really matter.
Oh, what I'm looking at is as of March 3rd. So you probably have more current.
I've got Hofstra plus. I got Hofstra at plus 360. Charleston's the betting favorite, obviously, but at 360, it seems more compelling to me, even though they are the 1 seed. I don't think Charleston's going to do it. I think Charleston was kind of that darling team of last year, everyone that's fresh in everybody's minds. And out of this entire Colonial, Coastal, whatever you want to call it, field, they have the highest expectations, right? Because they were, a 30-win team last year. Everyone thinks they're really good still. Like, you saw it throughout the year. Everyone was betting Charleston like they played last year, run and gun, hit all their threes. I saw so many overs through November and December that weren't close. They're a different team. They're playing a lot better ever since the new year started. Definitely, they're getting back to that, beat the crap out of. Excuse me. Beating the tar off of the really bad teams in the conference, and struggling with the better teams like normal. But they were a wagon last year, and they're just a different team. Whether guys leave, they're an older team last year too. I don't know how much of the talent they kept, Probably not as much as you'd want to see, just because I feel like they were an older team last year. Point is, I think somebody else in the field's going to knock them off. Is there anyone you like besides Monmouth in this field? Or you kind
Yeah,
of
I mean,
mentioned Hofstra too.
I do like Monmouth. I
They're
don't
25 to
think
1 now.
I don't think that they are good enough to win the whole thing. I could see them winning a couple games if they get hot. Um, I like Wilmington. I don't know what
That's
are
what
the
I
odds
was
of
going to say.
today?
Wilmington is plus 360. That's what I think if I'm looking, I would probably, my favorite team to bet on for to win this conference would be Wilmington.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Okay, I've got the current odds now. Plus 380, or is it plus
Okay.
300 today?
That's close enough.
Close
That's
enough,
a
yeah.
little bit of
So
steam one way or the
they
other.
will face the winner of the NCAA William and Mary and then Towson game. So there's those two play-in games today.
Is it
Towson
Towson
is
or
sneaky.
Tosin? I always say
Towson.
Tosin. Huh?
Towson.
I'll say
Towson.
Tosin. I don't care. I'll say it incorrectly. I don't care. Tosin. That's another team. Like they've been playing a lot better recently. I feel like they had some stinkers early on, and they've kind of rounded into form the last couple of weeks. I feel like so that's another sneaky team that could possibly go on a CAA run.
Yeah, 100%. Honestly, I just really like UNCW's path. Like that bottom half of the bracket, I think is way tougher. You have Drexel, Hofstra, even Stony Brook can be sneaky.
They're
I don't think they have a
competitive.
chance. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
competitive. I don't think they'll beat Drexel, but I think they can give them a run in
No.
that game. It might wear them down. Even Delaware, they've been inconsistent. They've been really good at times. I've been
Mm-hmm.
really impressed with them at times. And then they're kind of like the Hofstra. Like it seems like they just lay eggs too often. So I don't really like them to win it, but I think the bottom half of the bracket is a lot better. To me, the top half of this bracket, the three highest seeds are Wilmington, Towson, and Charleston. I like Wilmington the best of any of those three.
Yeah, I think I do too. Another one's Drexel. Drexel's been playing a lot better as of late too, and I feel like this conference has a glaring contrast of styles. Like they shoot a lot of threes. Is it like as a conference? I feel like the three balls they're heavily dependent on that. But then you'll have these games where they slug it out on defense too, like Towson, whatever the hell, and Charleston could play each other 4 times. Two of them would be 90 to 91, and two of them would be 50 to 51. I feel like, and I think it's like consistent throughout the whole conference. Like you just get a lot of polarity in the styles. I guess maybe it's something that I'm off base on, but looking at the scores anyways, like Drexel score 80 one day and 60 the next, and then they won't break 50 for 2 games, and then they'll be back up to 70. I don't know. That contrast of styles and controlling tempo is super important.
Yeah, I agree. That's the one thing with Charleston that I will say. They can staple to the floor against anybody. I mean,
Oh yeah,
if they're on
they
that
can
day,
win
like
anyway.
yeah, they'll find a way to win defensively if Wilmington isn't shooting the ball well. But I just think the upside with Wilmington is really good. Like I really like the ceiling that they have, and I know it's going to be a popular name like it for most college basketball people that are probably not as immersed as you and I or other people in the space.
Mm-hmm.
That's a familiar name in this conference. Charleston and Wilmington tend to be the top two teams out of this bunch. And I think people are going to be drawn to that, but I think there's some validity to Wilmington this year. I like them. To me, this is between Drexel and Wilmington. I don't think Charleston's going to come out. I think Hofstra has a good chance, but I actually like
Mm-hmm.
Drexel to beat Hofstra in that if it ends up being the 3-2 game in the semifinal, which I think it will. I don't think Delaware is going to beat Hofstra, but
That's who I would go with too. One of those two, Hofstra or Drexel. I mean, if I were betting on two of them, that's what I would do as well.
yeah, I think this tournament is interesting just because I do think the top, like any of the top four teams could win.
Yeah, Charleston through
through
Drexel.
Wilmington. Yeah, Wilmington is the 4. Even Towson as the 5, I think, has a
okay.
chance.
Yeah.
But those top 4, I think any of which can come out of this thing. I would go with Wilmington. I think that's probably my favorite play in this conference.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else on the CAA?
I don't think so. I mean, like, I think most of the time it is going to be the top 5, and like I just don't see a super long shot hitting it. Like even Towson being 14-1 right now, that's probably like your best dark horse play. Like Monmouth, we said like they can be pretty good at times and they cover spreads for the most part, but like 25-1. And what is it? Their second year in the conference too. They might be a little out yet, a little farther out to actually win the conference, but that's about it though.
Jumping over to our third one, the SoCon, the Southern Conference. This one
This one's
is going to
interesting.
be very interesting. We talked about this pre-show. I think any of the top 6 in the field have a legitimate chance to win. I don't like the bottom 4, but we have Samford at the 1 seed. Let's see, when is this? This is as of yesterday. So Samford as the 1 seed plus 150, UNC Greensboro plus 425, Chattanooga plus 550, Western Carolina plus 500, Furman plus 700, Wofford plus 1,500, ETSU plus 2,000, Mercer plus 6,000, Citadel 13-1, VMI 50-1.
Don't worry about
Neither
those
of them.
4.
No, don't worry about
those
those
4.
4.
They're rat
Samford
piss.
ripped
They're
all
good.
year.
They're really good.
Really good.
See, that's the thing with this conference. Like it's kind of the same thing with the Missouri Valley. Like I wouldn't be mad if I saw Samford and West Carolina actually like being at large bids.
Yeah, and I think the odds are. I think they show that. Like I don't like UNC Greensboro, despite them being the 2 seed. They're too inconsistent for me, and they're only a couple of cents on the dollar from Western Carolina as the 4 seed. I think Furman is going to be a popular long shot
Just
because
of
of
last year.
namesake, because of last year. Yeah,
last year.
They're not the same team.
No.
It's not as good as a Furman team that we've seen in the past. And even Chattanooga, I don't like as much as I did last year. They're interesting to me, but I thought they were a lot better last year. They struggled at times.
If like betting wise, I think that might be a good look though. Like, you know what I mean? Like they might not. They're probably will they win this tournament? Probably not. But like, I think there's a little bit of value there. Like this team could win a few games, and I feel like they can win either way too. Like they can play in those rock fights and hit enough shots and play good enough defense. They can kind of keep up with the best of them too. So I'm not really sure, but I think we do agree that the top 5 teams are probably the only ones worth a sniff, minus Furman. I don't see, like, but then again, I wouldn't be shocked if Furman won. We didn't really touch on this in the other 2. Well, I guess we kind of touched on it in a roundabout way. The coaching matters. That guy's a good coach.
Yeah.
Charleston. What's that guy's name? Pat Covington or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah, but like the coaching is a big part of it, and getting that tournament experience is big, especially Furman, right? Because they won a game last year. That's really good for the, real life experience for the coaching part of it. The players just play and they get, tight buttholes and whatnot. But I wouldn't be surprised if they did. Just even if we don't like them all that much, I wouldn't be shocked if they did. But I really think I like Western Carolina. Like they were really good to start. They haven't been as good the last couple of weeks leading up to the tournament. But, if they stack a win, I wouldn't be surprised if they won the whole thing. This tournament.
Yeah. I 100% agree. They have played the top teams really tough in the regular season. Like they lost by 3 at Furman. And they lost by They lost by just a few to and they split with Furman. And that's the thing about this conference that I think is weird is like when you go look at the scores, they kind of just beat each other up. Like when you look at Chattanooga, like Chattanooga gets beat by 20 plus by WCU in the last game of the season, but they also beat them at WCU by 7. It's very polarizing. Like any of those top handful of teams has the ability to blow each other out as well as like flip flop in
Get
the
blown
lower
out.
seed
Yeah,
wins.
and it's the shooting. If they don't make shots, because I don't think the defense is always an emphasis in this conference. I just feel like the scoring is relative to what the other team's doing too. Like maybe they both just miss shots. It's not so much playing defense. I mean, Samford could score 90 points in every one of these games. They could also score 60. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that if you want to take a 1 seed in any of the conferences that we're talking about, I think Samford is the best one. Like we said, I don't think it's Indiana State out of the Missouri Valley, and I don't think it's Charleston out of the CAA. If you feel so inclined to take a 1 seed, I would look to Samford. But I think Western Carolina at plus 500 is one of the better values on the board. It's just the path is hard. Like I would look to them if you like Western Carolina. I would bet them today tomorrow. Sorry, against Furman. And if they get through Furman, I would look to bet the money line against Samford. You're going to make your money when you're betting a 4 seed like that. You can bet that they'll probably be dogs. It'll probably be a short line against Furman, and it'll probably be a dog against Samford. So if you like them, look to just take a money line play against Samford. I think it could be a really good bet. I like Western Carolina a lot this year. I could see them coming out.
Mm-hmm. I do too, but let's not fool anyone. Samford is the best team in this conference. Like they have the
Samford is
biggest
legit.
upside. Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, I like them a lot. I don't like the bottom half of the bracket I mentioned. I'm not a big fan of Greensboro. I'm not as high on Chattanooga as I have been in the past. They're just too polarizing for me. Like that, I could see them getting blown out in game 2. Like I think they'll handle Wofford. I don't think Wofford's all that great.
Which is unusual. Normally they are. Normally they're okay.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of Chattanooga this year. I would lay alpha there. I would look to Western Carolina, even Furman at plus 700. If you like them to beat Western Carolina, I would look to bet that in the conference.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many ways you can go about betting this, but with those long shots, if you like them. Okay, so you like the 2 seed. What did you say the 2 seed was, or who the 2 seed was in this tournament?
Greensboro is the 2 seed at plus 425. Chattanooga is the 3 seed at plus 550, and Western Carolina is the 4 seed at plus 500.
Yeah, I mean, if you like one of those longer price teams, play them that way instead of, you can hedge it out. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many different ways you can do it. Like, if you like those super long ones, maybe just play it that way. And then, I mean, you get the same thing with the Super Bowl, right? When it's conference championship time, it's like, oh, you like the Ravens this week, but they're favorites against the Chiefs. Just bet them to win the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like, it might not work out, but there's ways you can kind of think through what the best bang for your buck is. Like if you're laying a unit, you like the favorite, maybe play them to win the whole thing, and you can hedge out of it later. There's nothing wrong with that. But just kind of a recap, we can wrap this one up. You and I both endorse Indiana State or Drake for the Missouri Valley. I wouldn't poo-poo you if you bet Bradley, but I don't think they're going to come through. Like Drake and Indiana State are legit teams. Yes. Drake's always legit. Indiana State is as well. I mean, there's a reason why Indiana never play, because Larry Bird was beating that ass. In the Colonial or the Coastal, this one's a little tougher. We don't like Charleston. We do endorse Wilmington, Hofstra, and Drexel. Like a super long shot would be Towson, but probably not. And it's probably not a realistic look, but There's nothing wrong with betting a long shot. You can hedge it out if they win a game or two. And then down here, we definitely like Samford and Western Carolina. I mean, those are probably the overdue sports approved futures right there. And it's not very fun giving out 1 and 2 seeds or, first and second odds on favorite, but typically that's how it goes. I mean, look at some of the ones we gave out in the previous 2 videos. Green Bay, they didn't make it. They didn't make it.
That was such a stinker. Noah Reynolds comes back, and I'm like, this might actually have a legitimate shot. Although I will say, to your credit, you did say if you want to play a long shot, UWM might be the look.
Did I say that?
You did.
They were like 25 to 1. God, I know ball. Why can't I bet on it all the time? Shit. It's a good. Like, I watch them. Like, normally they're horrible, but like this year they get up. They score a lot of points.
Yeah, they do. They don't play defense, but they'll score.
Yeah, I gotta find. I don't even know where my notes are for that. That's a shame. I did like Milwaukee. Everyone was high on Youngstown. Who won? Cleveland State last night? Did they beat Youngstown?
As 10-point dogs, they went out, right?
Yeah. See, I didn't like Youngstown really. I liked Wright State.
Mm-hmm.
I said like long shot Milwaukee. I said Green Bay was probably not a bad look just because they were really good all season, like spread wise and like Horizon good. So like I didn't hate that pick either. Like if you liked a long shot, I did say Milwaukee and I liked Cleveland State and Wright State. And who was the favorite? Like Oakland.
Oakland was the favorite. Yeah, they were the 1 seed. I actually think Youngstown.
They beat
Youngstown
Fort
may
Wayne,
have been
right?
the betting favorite. Yes, they handled Fort Wayne, which I was on, unfortunately. Yeah, that was a clunker. And then
Damn.
yeah, you had a chance there. You got a good look.
I didn't play it. I played North Florida in the ASUN, and that was a tragic way to lose that. They were up like the whole game against Austin P, and they lost in overtime. So that was unfortunate. And then I got a little discouraged. I'm like, I'm not having a great week. So I was just like, I don't want to lose all my money on tournament futures that I probably am not in a position to know a ton about. But at 25 to 1, it was right for like 39 minutes. So like, I don't feel too bad about it.
Yeah, the Horizon is already. I mean, we have a 1 seed, a 7 seed, a 5 seed, and a 6 seed because Northern Kentucky beat Wright State the other day in a I don't know if you caught any of that game, but that game was
I didn't see any of it, but I saw you guys were on a +7 and they won outright. So
and they won outright. Yeah,
dud.
They were down huge early and they just came roaring back. They just plugged away the entire second half. And when it went to OT, I was mortified because we all know that dogs go to die.
The dogs die in overtime, yeah.
And they did not. They were really impressive in overtime, and they ended up winning outright. That's a good team, man.
Yeah, that's a surprising one to me too because they played Houston well as the 16 seed last year. I took the points in the first round, and they played really well. So I don't think they're going to win the tournament. It's going to be Milwaukee because I said it and I didn't do it. Just give them life. No, I'm just kidding. I like Cleveland State at this point. Who's the 4th team you said that's left? It's Milwaukee, Cleveland State, Northern Kentucky, and Oakland.
Oakland's the only favorite that won.
Yeah, I would be inclined to, like, if you were to bet it now, I'd probably do Cleveland State.
Yeah, Cleveland State against Oakland is tomorrow, I believe. That should be a pretty solid game. Dude, Northern Kentucky, Milwaukee is going to be a good game tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's going to be a fun one.
Damn, Milwaukee. I walked so they could run.
So we're like 0.5 and 1 on the hot take tracker. Green Bay was a stinker, and Jake completely forgot that he had mentioned Milwaukee that he liked as a long shot.
Yeah, 6 out of 10. Oh yeah.
Well, that's our show, folks. This one's pretty short. We're hanging out a couple conferences, but that's what we got. We went over our takes for the stamps of approval for these 3 conferences, and I'm excited to watch some more daytime basketball today. Radford is on right now. I'm probably going to tune in during my next meeting at work and see how the boys attempt to cover the 11. They're tied at half, so I think we got a shot.
Right. I don't know about that under though. Like it looks
Very-
good, but see with my unders, I have a bad habit of betting on unders where like they sub out the teams that played in the first half and sub them in with like the 95-96 Bulls and the 15-16 Warriors for the second half. But long day, long day. We'll be all right.
It is a long day. Folks, make sure to follow us on Twitter at Overdue Sports. We're gonna be pumping a lot of stuff out like we have been. We love to see the audience growing over on Twitter. It's been awesome, like the last month or so. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe on YouTube. We're trying to grow this thing, and we've gotten some traction. You know, we're starting to get a couple of views here and there. Definitely, we're more so talking to nobody right now. But if you're tuned in, make sure you subscribe, and you're not going to want to miss the rest of the conference tournaments because today's Friday, so tomorrow we're talking about the big guns, and it's gonna be a long day in the studio, but it'll be a fun one.
That's all right. Yeah, and we like the engagement too. Like on the NHL side, Jim, good fade the other night. Good fade. I mean, I was right for 36 minutes, but hey, you win, man. I like that stuff, especially if you're right. I'm the hockey guy. I'm the one who puts out the hockey plays, and I apologize for the few clunkers we've had the last couple of days. Even though Columbus was a free bet, holy cow! Can't believe we got like half a unit yesterday in the weirdest way possible.
Yeah, went 1 and 2 and hit the
1 and 2.
200.
Columbus is free wire to wire. The Maple Leafs couldn't pot one extra one, and then Pittsburgh, like the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins, showed up to play against the Capitals. That was horrible. But
Someone responded. It was our good friend of the program, Big Tuna Bets. He
I
responded
love
to
that
us,
guy.
and then he said we're gonna be skating on frozen piss all night with the Penguins. And
Dude, I'm very vested in the Penguins. I've got a Stanley Cup future on them, and I'm gonna ride it out until Sid and Malkin retire because they got one more in them. I know they do. I know they do. But yeah, they're moose piss. But we made money. That's all right. Red Wings got dusted the other night. Sabres hurt me in a heartbreaker. See, that's the thing. My losers haven't been like way off. Like they've been pretty close. So like I'm looking in the right spots. It's just like each instance where the money line dog doesn't win. It's like I should have played the +1.5. But with the Sabres, like I couldn't have. It would have been like -160 on the +1.5. So I couldn't do that. I like doing that with the long ones. What I should have did was double dipped on the Blue Jackets last night. Like the +1.5 was never a doubt. The money line was 3-2 in the third. I'm like, oh, here we go. And they were okay. But let's wrap this one up, huh?
yeah, that's our show, folks. We plugged everything we possibly could, but continue all the engagement. We love to see all the growth. Make sure you're checking us out on YouTube. We're pumping out content week to week, so we're gonna have a lot of stuff coming out this weekend. Wrapping up the rest of the conference tournament stuff, and then some general recap stuff. So we'll be around. Make sure you catch us.
Feedback too. We appreciate that. If something we can do better or something you want to see on here, absolutely feel free to share.
Absolutely. We're willing to talk about pretty much anything here. But that's it. We're out of here.
This avenue decides to shamble. You only get so far.